All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing today, we are going to talk about the Tonal Constancy necklace. I got a chance to play with it, play with it a little bit on Friday. I managed to farm it and get it, and I threw it on my stand blade. And I have some more thoughts after my first gear set review on it. Wanted to talk a little bit about it and give you guys some more information so you can decide if you want to go out and get this this piece for your specific builds. I figured, this might help save you guys some time. You could figure out if you actually want to farm it or not. There's no worse feeling than spending hours in this game. There's no worse feeling in this game than spending hours farming a set that you think is going to be good and then it turns out to be bad. So hopefully this helps you guys out. So with that being said, let's dive into it. For those of you guys that don't know, the Tonal Constancy necklace is the new mythic item piece that when your magicka drops below 50%, you gain 450 stamina recovery. When your stamina drops below 50%, you gain 450 magicka recovery. This is base recovery. It actually scales a lot higher. So if you have like major and minor endurance, like all stam classes have with tripods and rally, it's going to scale to like 600 or 700 recovery. It's a lot of recovery when your magicka pool is low. Magicka or stamina pool is low, and it's the same for mag as well. If your stam drops, your mag is going to shoot up as well. And so I threw together a build. I was thinking about Tonal Constancy, and I didn't put it on at first because I know the set piece is good. Most mythic item sets are good because they're just a one piece. You're not sacrificing a lot to run a one piece set. It's not going to drastically change your build. Even if you don't like the mythic, it doesn't change your build a whole lot in general. So for the worse, it's not the same investment as like a 5-piece bonus. So with that low cost, you have to have a pretty, like, it could be garbage and it still wouldn't really make your, build bad because it's only a one piece. But yeah, this one I thought was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty standard and straightforward, and I thought about it and I was like, on a stand blade running shadow image and cloak, I'm going to be below 50% magicka a lot. That should shoot my stamina recovery up quite a bit. I might be able to crutch my stam recovery with the Tonal Constancy necklace to where I don't have to run siphoning attacks, and then I can run shuffle and I can run shadow image. I can be a little bit tankier in a patch that has a lot more damage. I can be more tanky against AoE with major evasion, which would be a very nice addition to the build, and I really wouldn't lose a whole lot of damage because I'm only sacrificing a one-piece set bonus. So I was looking at it, I'm like, this just seems like win-win-win. Like, I'm gonna be tankier, I'm gonna have similar sustain, and I'm going to be able to do similar damage. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And so I tried it out, and I PvP'd for about 6 hours of the same build, just trying this different set pieces and trying this build without siphoning attacks, and it was good. Tonal Constancy, it says what it says it is. It's a very good piece. It wasn't as good as I thought it was, though. And the reason I say that is I thought I could use it to crutch my sustain, and I couldn't in the way that I thought. And some of that is it's by the design of what I was running, and I wanted to kind of explain that as well. But yeah, with cloak and shadow image, I'm going to drop below 50% magicka a lot. My stamina is going to shoot up. Everything's going to be hunky-dory, and it's going to be awesome, and we're all going to be happy. But when I drop to low resources, if I'm trying to 1vx here, as I am, and I drop a bunch of resources trying to kite and line of sight and everything, I'm going to want to pop my potion. And when I pop my potion, my magicka pool is going to shoot up. And so when my magicka pool, as you guys see where I'm going with this, when my magicka pool shoots up, I no longer get the stamina recovery off of the Tonal Constancy necklace. So I found, and I'm very limited, guys. I don't have a ton of pots on PC. I didn't go craft any. I didn't realize this until later. But there were times where I'd be fighting a bunch of people, and in spots where I normally wouldn't, I was activating cloak, just so I could drop my magicka pool a little bit lower so I could get that stamina recovery back. And it just felt a little gimmicky for me. And so my first thoughts were, if I want to give it a go again with immovable pots, or maybe like stam health crit pots, something like that, to where I'm not running that magicka pool, and then my stamina recovery, I'd be able to crutch a little bit on Tonal Constancy a little bit better, which I just couldn't with this specific layout with these pots. And so this isn't taking away from the set. I'm not saying it's bad. This set is going to be probably the best mythic. It's one of, if not the best mythic available, in my opinion. It's going to be amazing on Sorks, with Dark Cloak and Dark Conversion. They're going to be able to use this very, very well. Stam Blades are going to be able to use it well. Mag DK, Stam DK, any class. Like if you're a block casting build and you're draining stamina, blocking and trying to stay alive, you're going to get a lot of magic recovery with Tonal Constancy, because you're going to drop below 50% Magicka a lot. If you're a Stam DK and you're using Igneous and Volatile, like literally every Stam DK is, you're below 50% Magicka a lot, your stamina recovery is going to shoot up. Same with Stam Blade. I don't think it's that great on Stamina Necromancer because the cost of your Magicka stuff isn't that much. And so because it's not that much, you're not going to drop below 50% a ton. I don't think it's as beneficial on them. You could probably build it in a way to where you could be, but the way I run my Necromancer, I don't think Tonal Constancy would work out very well, as an example. But yeah, though that's my thoughts on the set. It's definitely good, definitely worth getting out there, but I wouldn't just say like, oh yeah, I'm running 800 recovery, and I normally run 14. This set's giving me 7. I'm just going to run this and run 800 recovery. I wouldn't look at it as a crutch to carry your sustain like that. I would look at it as like, okay, if I need 1400 recovery, I'll build 12 and then I'll run the Tonal Constancy necklace. Or, maybe you can build in a little bit more if you weren't running tripods. That's how I would look at it. So that's one thing that kind of caught me off guard a little bit about it, because yeah, there were times where I was just like, okay, well, I guess I need a cloak here so I can get some stamina back. And yeah, that leads me to my next point. I wanted to talk a little bit about this build that I'm running, and I wanted to talk to you about the stats of this build that I'm running and why I kind of don't like it, actually. The way it's currently run or set up, I'm not a huge fan of it, and it needs some adjustments. But I was looking on the build editor, and as you guys can see, I'm running Yandir. That's the Yandir proc. And for those of you guys that don't know, anytime you critically strike with Yandir, you can gain a stack of Giant's Endurance. When you heavy attack, you gain a stack of Giant's Might. And so you can get 5 stacks of Giant's Endurance. They last indefinitely until you heavy attack. And then when you heavy attack, you get weapon damage. So the recovery for Yandir, 5 stacks is like 300 and something recovery. Scaled up, it's like 400 or 500. When you hit Giant's Might, it turns into 550 weapon damage. And so this set doubles as one of the best recovery and damage sets in the game if you can use it properly. And it's a very, very unique set. And I was looking at it in fully buffed, Yandir has 2 proc conditions. I either have the recovery or I have the weapon damage. I don't have both. At times with this build, with Tonal and with Yandir, I was sitting at, and continuous attack with tripods, I was sitting at like 3,700 stam recovery, which I don't need. I don't need. I'm not trying to say that you should run that much recovery, but I was also sitting at 8,200 weapon damage, and I already had a ton of damage. Like I was already hitting super hard. So at that point it was like, well, why not run that recovery? It's not that I need it, but I will always have it, And the way I was running this, I actually found it to be insanely problematic for a few reasons. Number one, when you're light attack weaving and you're trying to heal with Yandir, you don't get the benefits, you don't have weapon damage with this healing. And so you just have the recovery, and so your healing is naturally lower. You do a lot of light attack weaving to proc your Spectra Bow and everything, and when you heavy attack and you go in with your full burst, it's very nice. But if you don't have ways to proc Yandir, like through poison injection, it's not going to work out as well. And so on this build, I was backbarring Mark with Potentate's Bow because I don't have Master's Bow on PC, and I realized that it would have been better off with a Master's Bow on the back bar utilizing poison injection so I could get those crit dot ticks and I wouldn't have to stay in people's faces in order to really get the benefits of that bonus. So those are kind of the things that I noticed. And like I told you guys in the past, I'm not one of those people that likes to post a build until I test it. But if there was ever going to be a build that I was going to post without testing, it was going to be this one. Like this would be the closest possible thing that I would run for testing, because it's so much recovery and it's so much damage. And if you run Shadow Image and you run Cloak well, it's going to be very powerful. But the way I ran it, I couldn't crutch on the Tonal Constancy. It wasn't as powerful as it says it is. And I couldn't really stack Giant's Might in a way to apply the pressure that I wanted with this type of build. And so I needed to make some tweaks. And so this is why when I talk about different sets, and like, you know, when you guys ask me like, hey, put out a build for this, put out a build for this, you know, I say, you know, I'm testing stuff. It's because if I showed you guys the character sheet of this build, you'd be like, holy crap, like that's ridiculous. There's no way that's bad. And I didn't like it. You know, I didn't like this build as much as I liked my New Moon and Titanborn, as much as I liked New Moon and Stun, as much as I liked Titanborn and Stun. All those other setups felt better than this exact specific one. And so it's going to need some more tweaking. I still like both sets that I'm running. I still think that they're going to be powerful. I'm going to mix and match a few different things and hopefully come out with a build. But yeah, that's why we test what we test. So that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below. If I missed anything about tonal constancy and you guys have been testing it more thoroughly than I have and you can provide help to the community, I'd love to hear it, guys. You know, that's the goal of my channel. I like to try and get that information out for you guys, get your guys' theory crafting thoughts rolling so that you guys can figure out what you want to run on your specific classes so that you can go out in PvP and, you know, have as much fun as I do PvP. You know, win or lose, when PvP is functioning properly, it's fun, you know, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.